Stand by for deployment. Vote confirmed. Destination active. Proceed.
Welcome back, everyone. So we're going to be checking out some gaming hardware requirements to jam our games. I'd like to just show you guys what I used to do back in the day was go to a website called PC Game Benchmark. So if you just Google it, PC Game Benchmark. Right, so it's still there in my history. You can download an exe as well. It will actually open up, and there you can see I downloaded a few times, but let's show you from the beginning. So here's the site. You can enter your full PC spec. The main specs would be your CPU. So I know my CPU is a 9700 and it's the K series. There we go. My graphic card is the 1080, so it's a gigabyte GTX. There we go, and I got 16 gigs of memory. Right, then you can just say submit. So there's my rating, and as I do know my GPU is my bottleneck, you can see there they're recommending for me some upgrades. My GPU is the 1080. Here we go. They're recommending me a 3070, which is what I am looking to get as a replacement, and hopefully soon it should increase my performance in my gaming significantly. I think this rating might actually jump into the 95 percentile. So if I were to show you how the exe operates, so you can actually just choose the option. There we go. You can download the PC, the app. There's the app again, the PC app, and then you can just run it. When you run it, it picks up your details, and then when that is finished, it should open another window. Oh, there we go. So here it opens my window, then it gives me my rating. The computer has i7-9700. We rate it at 89%, and at the recommended level. Very important. At the recommended level. The weakest link is my GPU. The upgrading of this will big impact performance in games. So that is definitely something I'm moving in towards. And I just like to I sometimes go look at Facebook Marketplace what GPUs are going around for. Like here's a 3060 Ti. It's an 8 gig version. Here's a super. Oh, it's not a super. It's a 2070. That's an 8 gig 3.7. Some nice GPUs. These I love Gigabyte are excellent. I love the cooling. So this is a refurbished. Guys, please make sure that when you're buying a second-hand GPU, you make sure that it goes through proper testing, stress tests, because you don't want to spend money on a GPU, then end up finding out the GPU has been used for mining or it overheating for whatever reason. So be careful. Make sure that you're getting proper results. Benchmark tests from whoever you're buying the GPU from. Cool. I also, because I play Call of Duty, mostly Call of Duty, system requirements. So let's just check what Activision says is required for Call of Duty. So on a PC, Call of Duty's minimum specifications are i3. Oh, no ways. Did I say Black Ops? No, I didn't. Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Let's just take the latest version that there is out there at this moment. I want to say there was something big time wrong there. Here we go. So this is something that is actually very, very important. One of my previous videos, you notice I make mention of the TPM 2.0 and Secure Boot are required to play Call of Duty. So the TPM Trusted Platform Module 2.0 and Secure Boot are required to play Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Other security measures may be enforced, and then you can learn according to what it was doing. So my previous video, one of my previous videos, I made mention about my BIOS and reset, and then I had to reconfigure and make all those settings in the BIOS to make sure the game can run again. So that's one main thing. And generally I think from 7th gen onwards on Intel motherboards where you can actually enable TPM 2.0, but for the safe bet I think say from 8th gen upwards, 8th generation motherboards upwards should have this feature. then you just need a 8th gen CPU to go along with it. So they're talking about minimum specifications on Windows, the 64-bit. They're talking about Windows 10. We'd like to move to Windows 11 in today's time because Windows 10 is no longer supported unless you enroll for additional updates using your Microsoft account. Then you can still receive updates for another 12 months. That's up until October next year. They're talking about 8 gigs memory, but seriously, you don't want to play this game at all at this level, really not. And let's have a look at recommended. So Ryzen 5, they're talking about the first gen CPU, or i7 6th gen 6700. So if you make note there, they talk about the 6700 CPU can still run the game at 12 gigs memory. You can still run the game, and an AMD 6600 XT, RTX 3060, or Intel RT 580. So it must be at least an 8 gig GPU to be able to run the game. Again, these recommended specs, this will allow you to start the game, play it, but not at the top tier level. So let's look at competitive gaming. Okay, so here we're going up higher in spec. So here we're talking about a AMD 5th gen 5600 or the i7 10th gen, factory overclocked, 16 gigs of memory, and a 12 gig GPU. Okay, let's not forget about the SSDs. We need the SSDs, right? The game alone is at almost 120 gigs big. So these are the specs that you require for these to run this game according to Activision. Yeah, it's Activision. So if somebody would ask me, Dell, what do I need to play this game? At the very least, I will have to start from here. I could say we can get you an Intel 8th gen or 9th gen or 10th gen, right? And then 16 gigs of memory, and then the graphic card, and at least a 500 gig SSD. I might give SSDs is very expensive in today's time, as well as memory, but these are your money makers in your, even all of these this year. These are your money makers, definitely. They're not even worrying about your motherboard in this aspect. They're not even talking about your power supply as well to support the GPU. But all those things build your machine into a proper rig in order to, you know, play these games at a competitive level. Yeah, I think that's the most part. I think I did touch on the graphics cards, what is out there on the market. So this is obviously based on my city, and if you update your marketplace profile, there's other websites that you can go and look at, but please make sure that you get them to benchmark test your GPU with a stress test if you're buying a second-hand or refurbished graphic card. Yeah, thanks guys, hope that was entertaining and fun and informative. Cheers, have a good one.